Hello there. Today is Tuesday, September 22nd, and this is Mr. Smothers, and we're going to be going over energy pyramids today. First, we're going to start off with explaining what's going to happen for the week. So today's Tuesday, and Monday we had a holiday, we had an in-service day, the teachers did, and you get to stay home and just relax. So today's Tuesday. Energy pyramids will happen today. Tomorrow, we'll also talk about a little bit more about energy pyramids, and you will actually construct your own energy pyramid. Then Thursday, we'll go on to biodiversity and sustainability of ecosystems. And then Friday, we'll have a review. And Monday, we'll have a test. So that's kind of what's going to happen for the week. I went ahead and threw in there that Monday we're going to have our test just so you'd be aware of that. Okay, so here's the warm up for today. All you have to do is just pause it and then we'll go over the answers to this. Okay, you're back. Okay, so number one, the picture to the right is a blank blank. Answer to that would be it is a food web. Number two, does the energy in this drawing flow or cycle? Answer to that might sound kind of confusing when I say that it flows. Some people may think that it cycles because it appears that because it's round in nature there, it looks like the energy then goes from the fox to the decomposer and then maybe goes back around to the hawk. But that's not the case at all. All energy starts with the sun and it makes its way into producers, then first, second, and third level consumers. Then the organisms will eventually die and they'll go into the ground. And then those nutrients then will be absorbed by different organisms. So the energy, though, does not go back to the sun. It is basically given off by organisms as heat as they move around, grow, and develop. Next thing, number three, which organism has the most food sources available and why? The answer to that might sort of look confusing because there are some lines and arrows going towards certain things. But if you'll notice really closely, the fox has the most energy going to it. One, the energy of the squirrel goes to the fox. The salamander then also goes to the fox. And then you have that bird there as well that gives it energy. You could have said, and maybe this is maybe a correct answer, it just kind of dawned on me that the decomposer may have the most food available because all things when they die are decomposed. So you could have said the decomposer, but if you left the decomposer out, it would be the fox. The hawk looks like it's tied with the fox, but it actually is not. The hawk, when it dies, its energy goes to the decomposers. So there's only two food sources for the hawk and three for the fox. And there's a few others that have two. Anyway, there you go for the answers for that. Now let's move on to the next slide. The learning target, students will be able to explain and describe the distribution of energy using an energy pyramid. Okay, well, the next thing what we're going to do is we're going to fill in some things and learn a little bit about an energy pyramid. We're just going to see kind of what you know by filling in these blanks. So the first blank says blank shows the amount of energy available at each step of a food chain. The answer to that is an energy pyramid. Energy pyramids show the amount of energy available at each step of a food chain. Number one, the trophic level number one producers such as plants. This is found at the bottom of the energy pyramid. It's at the very bottom down here is where you find producers. Trophic level 2 would be right here, and this is the trophic level 2, consumers that eat producers. Next is trophic level 3, and we've got the answer there for you. So at trophic level 3 and above, consumer that eats other consumers. And number 4, there's no blank there. As energy flows up the pyramid going this direction, some is lost. Matter of fact, quite a bit of it's lost. Only 10% makes it from this level to this level. And then 10% of this makes it to this level. And 10% of that makes it to the top level. So only about, and I'm kind of giving you the answer there, only about 10% of the energy available transfers from one trophic level to another. Here's a good example of an energy pyramid. This one actually puts decomposers at the very bottom. Then it puts producers next. And doesn't matter what kind of units we're talking about here. It could be calories, it could be kilocalories, it could be a lot of different things, but whatever unit. This one starts off at 100,000 units. And 10% of that makes it to the next level, and then that's 10,000. And 10% of that is 1,000. And 10% of that is 100. And 10% of that is 10. So where does all that energy go, the extra energy? That extra energy, the 90%, is lost as heat when the organisms are burning that energy and using that energy in everyday activities. Very important question that we'll ask you on the test. And it's called the 10% rule. So it's a good thing to remember. Okay, so here you have an energy pyramid again. And there are 5 questions we're going to go over. I'm going to kind of pause in between the questions and let you think about them a minute. You could even pause it if you'd like. And then we'll answer them together. So it says, number 1 says, how many primary consumers are pictured? That's kind of easy because of the labels that we have right here. So on your test, you probably won't have these labels to help you out. How many primary consumers are pictured? There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 primary consumers. And a primary consumer are the ones closest to the actual producer, which is right here. All of these are producers, both the grasses and the flowers, if there are trees, anything like that that makes its own food, converts energy from the sun to energy that it can use. What consumer receives the least amount of energy in this pyramid? Least amount of energy would be up here, and this would be our tertiary consumers. This eagle or hawk would receive the least. This is kind of a tricky question, number 3, but again, you kind of have some help here. But number 3, what consumer receives the greatest amount of energy in this pyramid? The answer to that is not this level down here, which are the producers. Okay, because the producers are not considered consumers. So you'll find this out on your test. If you don't study this part, then you're probably going to miss this question. So it was very important. Again, on the test, we probably won't give you this information. Also, on the DCA, I'm almost positive there's a question about what consumer receives the greatest amount of energy in the pyramid. It's not the producer, it's the primary consumer. So it's a very good question. It's not really a trick question. You have to know your producers and consumers. if the producer produces 100,000 kilocalories, how many kilocalories does each consumer receive? So you would start off here. So if the producers have 100,000, then you would take that and you'd go 10%. The easiest way to do this is take away 10 and you have your answer. So instead of having 100,000, you would have 10,000. And then 10,000, 10% of that would be 1,000. Take away another 0, you have 100. So at the top, there would only be 100 kilocalories left for this particular organism. Where does the other 90% of the energy go? It is given off, and it even says it right here, the energy is lost. And I believe that says heat right there. That's what the red arrows are, is that energy, the 90% is given off as heat. That's the whole reason why some of the energy makes it, the 10% makes it to the next level, and you can see where the energy is being transferred. The reason why the pyramid is not box-shaped and it is actually pyramid-shaped is because there's less and less energy available. Notice there's only one organism compared to all of these organisms down here. So they usually indicate it with a lot less organisms as they move up because there's not enough energy to support the rest of those organisms. Moving on to the next slide. Here's another good example. This one's really good because this one deals in joules, and that's just a form of energy. So they have 10,000, 1,110. So it really shows you there is a lot less at each level available. And it even has 1 million right here joules of sunlight. Here's a video. Watch this. This talks about the 10% rule. I'm not going to go over that because I'm going to run out of space for this video. Here's another one. She does a really good job. This is only 2 minutes. This one is exceptionally well as well. This is the Amoeba Sister, so please watch this video, and then we'll move on to the next slide. Closing test. Students will draw, label, and complete some questions on an energy pyramid. Here is your closing task. You're just going to answer these questions and fill this all in. Notice that there are 100,000 kilocalories here, and each level there's a lot less. So you have to kind of answer these questions from this drawing here. And then you will take a picture of this and submit this to me. I may even have another option where I have a set of questions, but if I don't, then the only way you're going to be able to submit it is through a picture. So anyway, I hope you had a good day. If you have any questions, let me know. Oh, by the way, here's an extra slide with some more information. And this is the girl that does Crash Course for Kids. She does a really good job there. So you could watch that. That would probably be a really good idea. But that's all the slides. So hope you have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.